What's up, internet peoples? Matt from Southern Motorworks here. Welcome back to the channel. So today it's going to be a little bit different than our normal sort of videos. As you can see, we got the old, cover hauls on them, as my grandpa used to call them. So today we're going to be working on finally getting some garage doors on the little shop we got going on here. It's been exposed to the elements and whatnot, just kind of, heat, cold, whatever, for as long as we've been here. We're finally getting things set up the way we want so that we can kind of, have a little bit more of an advantage when it comes to doing what we do here, these sort of deals. And a big part of that's going to be having garage doors and whatnot on our, what is basically a carport right now. So this video is going to be a little bit of carpentry, and hopefully y'all hang out. There's no mechanicking in this video, fair warning, but there's going to be a little bit of woodworking. We're going to make some halfway decent garage doors here that we can secure and store our stuff in, keep it out of the elements, and protect things like these crazy European cars that we got here. So like I said, hopefully y'all will enjoy this. A little bit different than our normal deal, but let's get cracking on it. All right, so as y'all can kind of see here, we've just been using a piece of black plastic to try to close off the garage here a little bit so that we could work and have a little bit of privacy, or keep the rain out and whatnot off the vehicles when we got them in there. But this is just it was never meant to be a permanent thing. It's just a temporary deal. So what we're going to be doing is framing up, making some garage doors here. Now we're not doing a lift up garage door like one of these. They're going to be just two swing open doors like this. All right, I think that'll be a lot easier. Won't have to worry about having so much weight on everything and some sort of crazy hinge system to work it. So they're basically just going to be double barn doors, one set here, one set over here for the other side. Then we can finally get our American flag hanging over here again. But yeah, so first things first, like I said, we got to get some wood over here. We've got a bunch of 2x4s, and what we're going to be doing is framing up. I want to bring the frame instead of putting the doors right up against here, because as y'all can see, that's the bumper of the old C230 there, so she's right at it, and when we bring the big diesel over here, it really doesn't fit in here without having, and having any kind of room at the front of it to be able to work on anything. It is really, really tight in there. So what we're going to do is bring the frame of the garage door out to here. That'll net us another, let's see here. That'll net us another 18 inches for it to overhang here. And we'll tuck it up in behind, right in here, and behind this trim piece, so that it's not, we don't have to worry about any water, hitting it and running down on the inside or anything. It'll be kind of protected like that. And we're gonna be painting all this stuff. We'll probably paint it all white just to match the house and everything. Just get some of that, a gallon of that, barn door paint from Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that, and that'll be good enough to waterproof it. We're gonna have to figure out something. As y'all can see, we got quite the dip here. We'll probably fill this in with some gravel or something. This side won't be as bad. This side over here, there's such a huge incline coming out of the garage, a gap or whatever. We may have to put something on the back, on the very bottom, to be able to like flip up, the last 12 inches or something on the door to where it can swing out and actually clear and whatnot. But for now, what we're going to be doing is just running the board straight across here. We've got some bricks and stuff we can put underneath it to level out a board, so that it's not floating in the air over here when we tie it into the original wood here. And we'll bring that out 18 inches straight up to the top here, frame it out at the top. We'll use some filler wood here to close it off 100%, and then basically our garage door is going to be right out here up against where this dip is. So we'll fill this in with some gravel or concrete or something in the meantime. But for now, let's go on ahead and just get some boards over here and we'll start getting after it. Now for now, we just grabbed a whole big pile of lumber, not a exact amount. I don't like to make a whole huge plan here. We're not going to be drawing up some schematics and blueprints and everything to do this with. I've worked with enough stuff like this. I've done enough wood projects in the past, building, chicken coops and all sorts of furniture and stuff like this. We're basically just going to get in here and start putting stuff together, and we'll wing it. If we run out of wood and we need some more, we'll pick some more up in town next time we're at the day job. So all right, so we got 6 boards here to start off with. got a whole mess more up there on the front porch. We're gonna go on ahead and get after it. We're gonna be using yellow pine for all this. It's just some normal southern yellow pine 2x4s, studs basically, but we're gonna waterproof them. You know, we'll protect them with some paint. That'll take care of, you know, them being exposed to the elements. We do have a couple pressure treated ones. Those are going to go on the bottom near the ground so that they're a little bit more protected from the moisture and whatnot down there on the ground. All right, let me see. I need a pencil. Got to get a pencil. Pen works too. Couldn't find a pencil. Pen will be all right. All right, let me take a gander here what we're going to be doing. See if we can get right about in there is what I'm thinking. Let me grab a level real quick. Level that's entirely way too big for this project. Check. All right, so what we want to do here, try to make sure it's at least somewhat level, you know, because the carport here is so even already, you know. This side goes like that. That side goes like that, you know, but all right. But at least the part that we're gonna do will be level. All right, we're level that way. We're not level this way though. There we go. That's more where we want to be. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we're gonna mark this here. It helps if the pen's open. All right, that's marked at the end of that. And then we're gonna go, what is that, 3/4? Inch and a half, thereabouts. About an inch and a half taller than that. That's how high we're gonna make the first board here. We'll see where that gets us. I've had this thing for years and years. I bought this thing, oh shoot, probably close to 10 years ago. And this has been one of the best saws. I'm gonna tell you what, this thing I've used for so many different projects. It just takes a licking and keeps on ticking, you know what I'm saying? Made 2 cross-country moves with this thing. No problems whatsoever. One of the secrets to that, got the old Diablo blade on there. Where's the, oh yeah, it's on the other side. Diablo blade, that thing cuts like friggin' butter. Really? Okay, well that worked. We can go a little bit closer now. I wanted to make sure I had the angle right. There we go. First cut down, let's see what it looks like. All right, we'll get these started first. Love the old cover holes. Pockets for days, you know what I'm saying? All right, and this is just to hold it in place. We're gonna build a frame that's actually gonna hold it more securely. Hey. All right, got one in. There you go. Okay. Whew. All right, there's the first board in. All right. First board down. All right, let's move on and get the rest of it took care of on this side here, this first initial side. Now let me see. This is exactly about 17.5 inches. Oh, wait, did I put that to the outside? Yeah. 17.5, there you go. All right, we got our pressure treated here. Mark off 15.5 inches. And you know, a lot of times this sort of stuff, I would just bust out every piece that I needed the whole way through. But seeing as how this carport area is so not square, I really can't do that. Each side's gonna end up being, you know, a slightly different measurement in order to get the front of it to be even, which is what we want. I don't care about the fact that the rest of the stuff that somebody else did on here ain't straight. Just gotta make sure what I did is straight. Look at that. Daggum. Like I said, we're gonna be filling in some gravel or bricks or something underneath here. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to get this stuff framed up. All right, good deal. And we'll take and kind of toenail it into this stuff over here. Right, I think that piece there could actually use a couple friggin' screws on it to try to tie it in. All right, so the next piece we're gonna be running is our board. Oh, I can't even hardly get it in there. Our board up along the back side here, that's gonna be the back half of our little frame we got going on here. I'm gonna do my tape measure. Actually, I think we'll make it the exact same size as that one, so that it's a nice square, so to speak. And then we can put a board up along the top of it there. Yeah, let's do that. All right, see how that's gonna fit there. Friggin' perfect, bud. That ain't going nowhere there. Nope, gotta cut one more board to go across the top here. It's gonna be 14.25. Be right back. 14.25 inch board. Does it fit right? Perfect. Perfection. I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna have to pull those screws out slightly. I got these screws up here a little bit too long right now, so we're gonna have to pull those out slightly so this board will clear. Cool. Now we'll use them same screws to hold her tight for now. Cool. Ain't perfectly even, but all right. So that first little frame there done. Pretty secure. It'll be even better once we get some, you know, stabilization underneath the board over here. It's kind of hanging over the top of that dip that y'all always see in the videos going into the garage here. But as far as the part around the garage, nice and secure. I dig it. I dig it. We may get some sort of stakes or something drive on either side of here just to stabilize it even more. But for now, I think that's gonna do it for the night. Got this little bit of a frame done here. Not too shabby. Just kind of getting a feel, getting a plan together for what we're gonna do with it. We're just tinkering with this, you know, after the day job. So tomorrow we're off from the day job. So we'll get out here and bust out the rest of these, probably just time lapse it since y'all seen us put the one together, and then we'll cut back in whenever we start doing another aspect of it. But these, the next three frame sides there is gonna be exactly the same as this. So there's really no sense in, you know, y'all watching us construct that stuff. But tomorrow, got to run back down to PC, picking up a set of wheels for the old E12 project over here. That's gonna be coming up real soon. Got to gather some parts together, you know what I mean? It's ain't exactly like you can run on down to the Advanced Auto here and pick up parts for a 1980 E12, you know. 45-year-old German car parts, not readily available in the Florida Panhandle. At least a rural Florida Panhandle anyway. I don't know about Pensacola. It's a whole nother world over there. Anyways, so we'll pick this back up tomorrow. We'll keep on rock and rolling on these custom garage doors. See y'all mañana. All right, so we're back at it again the next day. We're actually filming from inside the garage, pointing out this way because goodness gracious, the sun's hot and the old GoPro will get overheated and shut down, and I just don't feel like dealing with all that. So we're gonna film y'all from this direction today. So we're back out here. We got the first frame side built over here. Old 320 CDI over here. Went and picked up some wheels for the E12 project for our son's first car over there. Had to upgrade the old wheels and tires on there. The 14s that's on it just ain't gonna get it. So we upgraded to some newer style stuff. Y'all see that in an upcoming video here. But for right now, we're gonna be working on this side over here. We gotta put a frame in, same way we did on that one. Gotta pick up some gravel tomorrow while we're in town after the day job. But for now, let's go on ahead. We need to move these old wheels and tires here from our daughter's C230 project. And so we can go on ahead and start working on putting the frame side on this one right here. Well, it's definitely not as long as the last one. If we go the same distance, should be right about there. Yeah. Cool. All right, I'll double check my distance again over here on the bottom, and we'll start screwing it in from the top to stabilize it before we make the rest of it. But I think what I'm gonna do is just go on ahead and we'll time lapse the rest of this stuff. Y'all see me do the first one. These other three are gonna be exactly the same, just slightly different measurements because nothing is square over here. So we'll bust this out real quick and we'll check in on the next step. Back there we managed to get framed up pretty well, so we're moving forward with the last side over here. This side's a little bit unique here. So we've got our electrical box inside the old carport area here. Now we can't block this off. We got to be able to leave access to the electric company for this. So what we're going to do is frame up a little cutout like this. Our wall's going to come right about in here and then cut over on this side. That should leave them with plenty of access if they need to get to the meter box or anything, and then we'll be able to secure our garage door, you know, right about in here. You know, instead of over here, it'll be about here instead. So fairly simple. We'll go on ahead and get this framed up, tied into the rafters. Not really too worried about the length here. Don't talk. No wasps up in my garage. All right, we're gonna try to run a couple screws into this board here, just into the sheet metal. This one's not gonna be supporting a whole lot. Most of the support on this wall over here is gonna come from where it's tied into the board over here, but I still wanted to have a little bit of something to hold it to that wall over there. Again, this is more, it's not structural, you know, this is mostly just for keeping the electric company satisfied. Pretty sturdy to me. Alright, so we got all that framed up there. So now what we're going to be doing, putting in the wall that goes right along here, right alongside where that tractor tire is, should be just about near perfect, you know what I mean? We're going to put our first one. I actually have to cut this one. Daggum. Alright, so we got that one figured out. Had to cut that one down to about 91 inches. Alright, so we got that done. Now we need to make a connection board over here. Never mind all of our used oil bottles. We got to make a run to the parts store and get rid of them. But we got to make a board to connect these two here, sturdy this board here up, because it's got a little wobble to it right now. Alright, got our baseboard here. Incoming. Alright. I don't have any at the moment, but I'll pick up a pack and we'll tap on this to the concrete here to really keep it secure. But for now, it's gonna be just fine. We're definitely gonna have to secure that to the concrete though. At some point, we'll grab some tap cons while we're in town tomorrow so we can secure it to the wall, or to the concrete rather, keep it from doing that. All right, so we had a little bit of a change of plans. If y'all can tell, it's in a slightly different place than it was the first time around. So, did a little bit of research. This rafter here was going to be too close to the front of the meter box. Meter box needs at least 36 inches, that's 3 feet in front of it. So we had to move it to this rafter over here. So, it's back in there, nice and secure. Nice and secure. Everything's solid. Little piece together over there, but it'll be all right though. It'll be all right. So, but that should be plenty of room for them for the meter box. In case the electric company comes to read it or anything, I doubt they will, but just in case. Got a mess to clean up in here now. Had to move the tractor over to the old workshop out back there to make room for this here. So now we got a bunch of space and there's a bunch of stuff mess underneath it. That tractor's been sitting there a little while. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna need a bottom end rebuild. It's not holding oil pressure for nothing. Could be the oil pickup in the oil fan, I guess, but we'll check on that eventually. Right now we got car projects to work on, all right? So we've got 1, 2, 3 of the door hinge, you know, where they're gonna mount, worked out there. So we gotta work on this fourth one here. We'll try to get it done before dark so we can continue on with the doors whenever we get home from the day job, mañana. So daggum muggy out here today. Goodness gracious. Like I said, we got to get some tap cons tomorrow. Screw this wood down into the concrete here better. But for tonight, it's going to be fine. I think it's still pretty well level. Oh yeah, bud. Well, it's a little odd that way. Oh, well, maybe it's because the board's crooked as all get out. Yeah, it's not that far off. The board's just warped. It'll be all right. All right, we'll cut to a time lapse again since y'all have seen us do the other 3 of these. No need to make you suffer through the 4th, I reckon. All right, so I think that's going to about do it for the night. Managed to get that one framed up. Not too shabby. Everything's pretty well sturdy. Again, we got to get some bricks and gravel and stuff to go down in here, try to level this out a little bit. We got to waterproof these boards, you know, make them a little water resistant at least. Got to tap con these into the concrete. But overall, we got to add some cross bracing to these walls now that they're bigger than they initially were. So we got to clean up some mess now that we can get to it again. The tractor ain't in the way. So we got to, got a little bit of work to do in here. We'll add some cross braces this tomorrow after we get home from the day job. I think we're going to add in some along here, also like so. Try to sturdy that up a little bit. It's not bad, but it's got a little bit of a wobble to it. So, I mean, it's sturdy overall, but I just want to try to eliminate as much of that wiggle as we can. So tomorrow we'll finish working on sturdying this stuff up a little bit, all sides of it here, and then we can finally move on, try to get to work on framing up the doors and whatnot. I got hinges coming in the mail on the way. Goodness gracious, you ever seen the cost of hinges at your local hardware store? Whew, small fortune just for some friggin' hinges. So we ordered them from the old Amazon, you know what I mean? Anyway, those will be here like Tuesday, and then we can start hanging doors and stuff. The goal's try to get the doors all framed up and everything, so come Tuesday when the hinges get here, we can just mount them. We'll already have them framed up. So that means we got to get the doors just about all complete, or at least started on complete tomorrow. So got this newest project. You guys will have just seen about it in the last video there. With the 320, we drug it home. Got this newest project out here. Trying to decide what sort of wheels, what color wheels we're going to be going with here. I think we got an idea, but not quite sure. And our shop cat's back. Our original shop cat, Mercedes here. She was gone for like a week. I don't know where in the heck she was at. Yes, I know, I missed you. I missed you a little bit. You need to stay here. Goodness gracious. Man, that thing looks good. Anyways, all right, that's gonna do it for tonight. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll get rolling on the next step of these custom garage doors here. All right, so it's a new day out here. We're gonna go on ahead today and start framing up the doors to hang on here. We got our hinges in the mail, so now we just gotta start getting these doors put together to hang from side to side. And we finally start getting this stuff locked in and secured. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we got 114.5 minus 3.5 for that board, so 111. Half 111 is 55.5. So we need each door to be 55.5 inches. So we need to make some 55.5 inch doors. Dose of them. Okie doke. Get to it. Gonna need to be two of these boards at 55 inches. Let's get them cut real quick. Alright, so now we can start putting these together. Oh, I did this wrong anyways. What am I thinking, guys? What am I thinking? These are supposed to be like that. It's been a long day at the day job. It's been a long day at the day job. Obviously it's going to be up off the ground slightly, but not so much as to hit this. Yeah. Now, let me see. 55 and a half. 55 and a half. Daggum. It's almost like I've done this a time or two. All right, you can see what it's going to look like there. Obviously, we'll put some bracing in there and whatnot. We're going to have some 1x to fill it in, 1x4s or whatever to fill it in, 1x6s, something like that. We use that to fill it all in. Should be nice and secure, nice and sturdy. But fortunately, I'm about slap out of boards. I got one board left. So tomorrow, when I get home, when I get out of the day job, I should say, I'm gonna have to bring home some more boards. But for now, we got some scraps we can use here. We're gonna go ahead and put some extra bracing in these and whatnot to kind of eliminate that wobble like that. And maybe some other bracing elsewheres. And then we'll call it good. So we're gonna do what we can do here with the little scraps. And then tomorrow we'll be back from the day job with more 2x4s and probably the 1xs, so that we can go on ahead and get this stuff mounted and, you know, get it looking like it should. Let's get our stuff closed in and secure. All right, so we're just gonna speed up what I'm about to do right now, adding some extra supports in between here and whatnot. No sense in y'all watching me do that stuff and hearing me commentate on every little board and cut that I make. So we're gonna speed it up real quick. Y'all can watch what happens. All right, so it's a new day here. As y'all can see, we've done a little bit of work off camera here. I actually managed to assemble one of the doors here. We've got it hanging on the hinges. It's sagging a little bit, all right? The reason why is because this board down here isn't anchored to the concrete, so this is all kind of got a little wiggle to it. So before we can do that though and actually get it to swing, the ground is so uneven right here outside of the shop area. So instead of trying to level out the entire ground, you know, that kind of tends to keep any water from the roadway from coming in here. A little bit of a barrier, so we're going to leave that there for the most part. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to cut the bottom of the door and make it so that it hinges up, and then we'll have it so that we can lock it inside so that nobody can, you know, flip it up from the outside and get under the door. But what'll end up happening though is we can open these up from the bottom, flip them up, and then we'll be able to swing the door out like normal. But that'll keep it from hitting the ground at all, and we can make it secured from the inside here. So that's what we're going to be doing first today. We got to make the rest of the door frames for the other 3 doors, and then we need to anchor this board here, this bottom board, into the concrete to try to hold the rest of the stuff still, hopefully. So let's get after it. All right, so we've got that other hinge around the front side there repositioned. We had to move it up from this board on the other side up to this board, and we gave it another 2x4 through there to anchor it into something other than this front board here, because the stuff isn't it's just fence slats, it's not very structural. So now we can go ahead and start getting after it with the reciprocating saw here. We're just going to cut through these 2x's, and hopefully all will be well. Cool. There we go. Get that out of there, and we'll see if these hinges are going to hold this door up. They're a little on the small side, but they seem to be doing the job. All right. Guess they're a little stronger than what I thought they were. Definitely got some weight on them. All right, so now we need to get the hinges out in order to reattach this to there. Yeah. Also, while we're at it, think we're gonna take, and which way do I want it to swing up? It's gonna have to swing out to the outside. Okay, all right. Let me run inside real quick, grab the other hinges we're gonna be using for that part, and we'll pop them on there real quick. All right, so we've got our other hinges here. Just gonna be using some regular door hinges for this portion. Use that to fine tune this alignment here a little bit. Now, you put these little hinges right here on. Like I said, just a little, oh, my GoPro's about to fall over, hold on. Anyways, just a little regular door hinge here. We're gonna run one on either side. That should be plenty good enough for what we need it to do. Oh man, it's warm out here. Tell you what, who actually enjoys this kind of heat? I just don't know. I'm sure there's somebody in there out in the comment section that enjoys this sort of heat. If y'all are a lizard person that enjoys this sort of heat, let me know down in the comments. How do you do it? Because I don't know. All right, cool. Now, let's pull our supports out of here. I should be able to swing this up. Cool. We'll put something up here to be able to latch it up top and hold it in place. Swing our door out and about. Then when we want to close it, we'll have to level out this ground a little bit here because that kind of ain't helping us. But there you go, just like that. Not too bad, not too bad. I dig it. All right, so there's one door figured out. I think we're gonna stop there for a moment. We gotta run into town, get some chicken feed and whatnot. Wanted to do one door so I could make sure them hinges were gonna work. So in case I needed to buy hinges in town, we could get some more. But yeah, I think that's gonna work out good. So we'll be right back. We'll continue on framing up the rest of these doors. All right, so we're back from town. And what we're gonna work on now is running some concrete screws from this wood down into the concrete here in order to stabilize it and make the store not wiggle around so much. So we went and got it. We got some concrete screws. We got a concrete masonry drill bit here. You got to make sure whenever you do it that you get the correct size drill bit and screws here. And they say on the front, you know, this is a 5/32 drill bit for use with 3/16 screws. And then you have 3/16 screws, and it tells you on the back you need a 5/32 drill bit for it. Gotta make sure you pay attention to that stuff, or you will get the wrong size, and it really won't work. We're gonna run this part here. It doesn't really move around, but it's this portion over here. So we're gonna have to anchor that. But first we're gonna anchor over here. We've got 8 screws. We need to do some over there. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should be plenty. All right. All right, feels pretty solid. Everything's anchored into the concrete there. So let me pull the supports out for the door over here. We'll see if this wiggles much anymore. Significantly less than before. We'll get some I'll get some plates to go on the side of this wood here. That should help sturdy that up. I'll get those tomorrow while we're in town. But if you look at the bottom of the door over here, it is definitely a little bit sturdier than last time. Yeah, now we can lift this up completely and be able to open the door up. Yeah, couldn't do that before. There we go. It'll fall right into place. We just got to figure out some way to lock this in here so it can't be opened from the outside, and then we're good to go on that. All right, so we managed to get that one anchored. We got this wall over here anchored. That's all nice and sturdy now. So I think what we're going to move forward with now is going ahead and we'll get the doors framed out. We don't have slats because we only brought home enough to do one door. I wanted to just do one and make sure it was going to, work before I spent the money on all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and frame up the rest of the doors. We may go ahead and hang them on some hinges. I'm not 100% sure yet. Maybe not. We got to get some extra hinges to beef up the doors. We'll get them from work tomorrow. I guess we could always hang the slats on them after we have them up, but for now we need to go on ahead and get them framed out and everything. We can get that done. That way tomorrow when we get home, all we got to do is put the slats on the boards, or on the frames I should say. Hopefully, I'm hoping all these scraps that we're cutting off of here, I'm hoping we can use those to make some of these little inside portions or something, solid them up somehow. Gotta be some kind of use. I'll figure out something to do with them. No sense in them going to waste. So anyway, all right, let's get out there, and unfortunately, got to get out in the sun. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and time lapse this again for these last 3 doors since y'all already watched me do it once. So, all right, cue the music. All right, so we're all finished up for the night. We got the rest of the door frames done here. As you can see, we got 1, 2, and 3 done. They're actually not uneven, but that one's being supported by something underneath it there. So we got those all finished up. So we're pretty much out of wood for the night. We're gonna bring home some more slats tomorrow to be able to fill in the rest of these doors. Probably a couple more 2x4s just to sturdy some other spots up and whatnot. And gotta bring some more hinges home tomorrow and possibly some more screws. Yeah, then we should be good. Should have everything we need to be able to finish this up. So, but for now, those are all made. We're gonna call it a night, go get some grub. Skeeters are starting up out here. But yeah, solid day of progress. So we'll see y'all tomorrow after the day job. Almost dark here. All right, so we managed to get that second one hung there. It ain't great. We got some clearancing to do, a little bit of tweaking, but it's hung for now. Tomorrow we'll cut the bottom of it and hinge it like we did the first one over there. But at least for tonight, it's hung. Tomorrow we'll come home from the day job. Pick up some tools, probably pick up a little bit of our debris from building here, and going ahead and push forward. We're trying to straighten some of these out. See what we mean. We've got to fine tune it a little bit. We've got to put a hinge across the bottom so we can actually open it. So we'll get to work on that tomorrow when we get home from the day job. Had to pick up more wood today, so we got a real late start coming home and whatnot. So, but we got just about everything we need now in order to finish these up. So tomorrow we'll get back at it, start busting out these other 2 doors there. All right, so it's a new day. We got to get this thing cut like we did that one. Put a couple of hinges on it so we can open that one up and make sure everything's going to line up somewhat decently. The other one. Alright. We got to kind of dig this stuff out, put some gravel down in there. Don't line up perfectly up there, but the house ain't exactly straight. All right, it's not too bad there, as y'all can see. Boy, hopefully y'all can hear me good enough. We didn't hook up the wireless mics this time, just kind of busting this stuff out real quick. But got that fixed up. We're gonna put some hinges on here. We're gonna put some locks on here rather to hold that down better. But for today, since we're dodging the rain out here, as y'all can see, for today we're gonna pull in the other frames and just work on cutting the slats, getting these other doors ready to go, so that tomorrow, you know, when it's dry, we can actually go out there and hang these other 2 doors. So let's get those other doors busted out. All right, so it's falling day. We actually got a little sidetracked yesterday. We were fighting the rain out here. It was just drizzling nonstop the whole evening. Didn't really feel like getting out there and dealing with it. So instead we decided to make a door. So we made a door. All right. We ended up like 1 hinge short, so I got to get another hinge from in town today. But anyway, so today we're gonna go on ahead and get back to work on the other 2 doors that we got to make over here, which is those right there. So we'll time lapse this real quick and get to work putting all these slats on these doors. It's a little monotonous after 2 of them already. It's got to be done. All right, so we got those all hung up. We got to wait to put the bottom hinges on because they actually go into the slats on there instead of into the 2x4 on the bottom, so that we can accommodate the swinging bottom of the doors there. So pulling some more slats over here. We'll get the rest of this buttoned up. So as you can see, they're swinging, opening like they ought to. We got to cut the bottoms of them so that we can put those other hinges on and make them swing up so we can actually swing them open next. Alright, so we got that cut down. We go get the old electric circular saw there. Batteries kept dying. But anyway, now we're going to go out front, start attaching these hinges. We'll get it opened up. Alright, there's one down. Let's go ahead and bust out this next one here. Got to get these boards cut and then we can attach the hinges. Alright, now these should fall right into place like the other ones over there. Hopefully. What's holding you up over there? Oh, a little bit of trimming on that 2x4 there. But overall, not too shabby. We're definitely gonna need like some weather stripping. Try to seal up some of these spots along in there and whatnot, which is fine. No big deal. All right, there we go. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right, I think we're gonna call it a day there. Got a good amount of work done. We just got some finishing touches due on it tomorrow. We got to bring home some door handles and whatnot, or I might have a cool idea for some door handles. Ain't figured it out yet which way we're going to go, but like I said, we got to do some finishing touches and whatnot, and then this project will be ready to go. We'll have to paint it eventually, but we're not worried about that right this second. We just need to secure the old garage here. But I think we're gonna run down to the gas station real quick. Got to grab some stuff for the night's through. I think we're gonna take the old Swedish gentleman for a spin over here. It's been a week or so since I ran him, and it's good to keep these things going. These old cars got to keep them up and moving, you know what I mean? But all right, we'll see y'all tomorrow after the day job. All right. So it's following day. Today we're just going to be working on some finishing touches. Got to put some hinges on here. Got to make some hinges, I should say. Got to finish sealing up a couple of these spots here. So yeah, let's get after it, see if we can finish these things up today. Got to finish sealing up these edges over here like that. On that side we'll have to figure out something to put right in here. And yeah, that's about it. Like I said, finishing touches. Let's see if we can get these things all buttoned up today and move on to the next project. All right, so just like the other side, I'm going to be using just the scrap end pieces from what we cut off the doors here in order to cover this up. Utilize every bit that we can. You know what I mean? All right, quick and easy there. Got that side buttoned up. I have to run some spray foam or caulk or something in these, you know, holes here. Trying to seal the old thing up a little better. A couple of these could use a couple extra screws here. I'll be right back. There we go. That's a little better. A couple of those spots was a little wobbly there. Sealed up now. All right, we're gonna spin it around on the opposite side here. Start buttoning up that on that end. All right, so we got all of our scrap boards, scrap end pieces screwed onto there real quick. We're short like 7 more boards, so we're gonna go over there. We got a couple more fence slats or pickets, whatever you want to call them, that are extras that we had. So we're gonna go over there and start cutting those up into the sizes that we need and fill up these last 7 boards that we need here real quick. All right, all them boards there cut, 7 more pieces ought to do it. All right, got that piece there all covered in. We're gonna have to do some sealing up with some small pieces of wood or something like that eventually. These fence slats ain't exactly the most precise things in the world, but you know, works for now, because who can afford the price of full-blown 1x lumber? Goodness gracious. But anyways, we'll seal this up with some expanded foam or caulk or something like that, try to weatherproof stuff a little bit, but at least this way it's going to be secure. So all right, we got to get some handles on here. We got to get some locks on these little portions down here on the end. So let's work on that next. All right, so we got some super janky stuff going on with the things underneath there. That's just for tonight. We'll come up with something better tomorrow when we come home from the day job. But for now, what we're gonna do is go ahead and work on our locks here. So we're gonna get these mounted across the doors like this, and that'll lock these 2 doors together, further securing it. Definitely got to put more lights on this side of the garage. We got all of our lights going on the other side there. I guess I could plug in one more. Let me see. That's a little better. Definitely a little better there. All right. Hey, so let's get to work on these locks here. There we go. All right. Cuckoo. Can't push them, can't pull them, nothing. Cool. That's one down. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Now, does it work? Indeed it does. Tomorrow we'll bring home some other stuff from the day job. We kind of ran out of time today. We had some other stuff to do whenever we got home here. So we didn't quite get around to the handles. So we'll hit that tomorrow whenever we come home from the day job. But for now, at least they're secured, locked and whatnot. So we'll see y'all tomorrow with more supplies. All right, so it's the final day, hopefully the final day of us working on these garage doors here for the most part. We got them all constructed and everything, just a couple fine tuning, you know, last minute things we got to do. We need some handles on here. Got no handles on here, so we got a real cool idea to use for the handles. I'll show you all on the door here that we made. Check that out. Some old wrench that some old boy bent up many moons ago. Wasn't me. I found it like that. So we've got a whole bucket here, extra wrenches. These are all just extra things that I've had laying around. So I think we're going to pick out some of these. We're going to do the same sort of thing. Might have to bend them a little bit, put a little curve in them, but we want some with some character, you know, something like that, you know. Maybe, let me see. Got a bunch of the double open-ended ones there. Maybe a big old 3/4. Another 5/8. So we got 2 5/8 and 2 3/4. I think we'll call that good. All right, so one thing we're gonna have to do, kind of figure out how in the world we're gonna attach these. We'll put the 2 5/8 on this side, just flat up against there. Ain't really gonna cut it. All right, so I think we got it figured out here. So we're gonna use the sockets to stand it off from the door like that, and then we'll run some screws in there. Let's try it and see if it's gonna work. There we go. Nice and tight. That ain't going nowhere. Cool. On to the next. Let's rock and roll. Cool. Just a bunch of random automotive washers, wrenches, sockets. Turns out pretty cool looking. A little janky, but I like it. Cool. Paid $0 for them. All right, so the last thing we got to do, we got to put our little hook and eyes across the front here so that we have somewhere to hook these two whenever we flop them open to be able to open the garage doors up. All right, so we're just using little hook and eye sets like that, pretty simple. These are 2.5 inch with the safety hooks. I think that'll help keep things where we want it to be. This isn't really gonna, you know, it's not gonna be supporting a whole lot here. This is mostly just to hold these up and out of the way when we open the doors. I need to see, I'm in the way where these are gonna land. All right, cool. So, trying to just get a plan together how we're gonna do this. I think what we're gonna do is attach the eye end up here, and then we'll attach the hook end to this portion. So then you'll lift this up and just hook it on the eye, I think is how this is gonna work here. Oh, the gnats are relentless down here this year. They are bad, almost as bad as the black flies up in Maine. Once you get it started, you use the latch itself there to be able to spin it around a little easier. Cool, let's see if that works. Come on, could not be any better. That is freaking perfect. Perfect. All right, we'll bust out these other three real quick. Just time lapse it. All right. Got garage doors to keep enclosed the old Euro rides, protect them from the weather and whatnot. Got to get some ways of holding them open. We'll deal with that last, but you know, it's got cool wrench handles on it, so that's all that matters at the moment. Everything's functioning properly. Are they perfect? No. Is it the absolute greatest fit? No. But is it going to keep weather and elements and everything off of our vehicles while we're working on them, keep us out of the weather and whatnot? Absolutely. So that's going to be just fine in our book. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Southern Motorworks. Skeeters are about to tote me away. We've got our garage doors made. We're going to have to paint them and seal them up and stuff and whatnot eventually. But for right now, these are going to be just fine. They're going to get the job done what we need to do with it. So I appreciate y'all watching as always. If y'all enjoy this sort of content, maybe not so much the carpentry content, but usually the stuff that's inside there, you know, this sort of stuff. If y'all enjoy that sort of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it here at Southern Motorworks. Helps us reach a bigger audience, try to hit our goals of, you know, reaching a bigger audience and getting, you know, saving as many of these Euro rides from the scrapyard as possible. So plenty more to come in the near future. Got more to come with the old Swedish gentleman over here, more to come with the E12 BMW project over there. We got a wet sand and buff, the old C230 project in here, so there's plenty more to come. So like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch y'all on the next one, right? Y'all have a good one out there.